So the rain is gone here and allergy season is back. D-Wave is the one we're going over today. It's not just another speculative quantum computing bet. I found that they're already deploying real world solutions with enterprise clients, while other companies seem to be chasing the breakthroughs that are years away. D-Wave is commercializing quantum today. And here's the question. Is the market sleeping on this stock still, or is it fairly priced? We got to still look at these things. We'll break down three parts: the technicals, the financials, and the news, as well as the market and what we could see here in the near future. So let's get into it. We're looking here. We're trading Rigetti stock. Oh, and by the way, if you've been thinking about watching me trade live each and every day at market open, surround yourself with other traders and investors. We just raised our quarterly price about 20% for Stockmate, and lifetime access is next. It's a crazy deal right now, and it won't last very long. If you'd like to watch me trade live every morning, today we locked in about $100 profit so far. If you want to be there for those trades, check the second link in the description. All right, so let's dive into D-Wave. D-Wave is up 11% today. Doesn't look like a substantial amount when you look at it from this kind of further out view. And before we jump into the consolidation and some of this push up that's happening here, just take a look at D-Wave. It was at 85 cents a share just really back in October, and it shot up to $11.41 before selling down. So right here was the comments from Jensen, CEO of NVIDIA, saying that quantum computing is about I think he said 15, 20 years away. Despite being one of the biggest investors in quantum, that is NVIDIA, those comments really shot the stock down, and well, shot all of the entire market down. And you can see a similar pattern over here on Rigetti stock as well. A little bit more of an aggressive recovery there. But QBTS, you see the same sell-off, and it sold off basically down to $3 from that $11 price point, and then now recovering. It's at $6.43, and it's up 11% today. So if we drop this down to the shorter time frame, you can kind of see it's been consolidating. We had this mapped out in a previous video. Saw it drop below a little bit. One thing to note is this green line. See that moving average? When it's below, it's bearish. When it's above, it's bullish. And recently, as we started to see today, it is pushing up above that green line. Now it's even looking a little bit, possibly a little bit overextended. But if it's going to make this run to this previous resistance that we had previously mapped out from $6.50 to $7.35, seems like right now is the time. I see that it pushed up here right at the start of the day to about $6.35, sold down to $6 before recovering back to about $6.50, and it's about 14 to 10 to 15% away from this resistance zone. And right now, it seems like it's kind of just running up. I mean, it's gone up a little bit since we started this video, so definitely looking like it's on this run. We'll see if it continues. One thing to note, the MACD RSI looking a little bit overbought on the near term, but when we drop it down just a little bit, not so near term, maybe more towards the past few days, we could see, yeah, it's overextended a little bit, but hey, if it's still, making a run here, it possibly is going to have a similar movement to what we saw back here when it pushed up to $7. But also remember, it's between the support and resistance. The trade here, you'd want to see a little bit more of a sell-off, like here, maybe here at market open. We'll see what happens in the near term, but definitely not even, but I would say, and there is a lot of opportunity when you look at some of the news that's driving D-Wave. When we go to QBTS and we check out some of their news, one thing that separates this company is they've partnered to accelerate the adoption of annealing quantum computing across the Middle East. So they're in that part of the world. This collaboration that they're doing, it aims to basically develop and deploy quantum applications in AI and mostly supply chain as well. In the Middle East, there is a lot of things happening that are going to affect a lot of the shipping in the world. I was just talking with a family member that's I don't know the exact rating. I think he's like a, I don't want to misquote it, GS6 or something, in Jordan, and he's overseeing some of the Suez Canal and how he's overseeing a base out there in Jordan, all the aviation, but also seeing firsthand how there's some trade wars happening, and they're sending shipping all the way around Africa as opposed to going through the Suez Canal as they normally do. So there's going to be a lot of price fluctuations. The market has already been kind of hit the past week or so, and we saw the S&P 500 down a little bit. One thing to note is some of these companies that are in the trading, the goods, and so much of the goods that come from exports and come in, they're going to be hit. It's going to drive down profit margins. It's going to be tough. But when you look at some of the companies that are really deep in the tech, that are going to support some of the AI boom that's going to happen here in 2025, is already happening. Some of those tech companies are going to see a lot of growth. And one of the companies stand to benefit here is the quantum computing company DWAVE here. And so one of the notes that they have, I think it was on their site, if I get the link for you, we were just on their website here, and this is one of the companies that really didn't like those comments from Jensen. They said, no, we're not 15 years away, we're doing it right now, and the companies we're working with are happening right now. So you can see DWAVE and Stack announced strategic partnership to accelerate annealing quantum computing adoption across the Middle East. So Palo Alto and Calgary, Alberta. See DWAVE Quantum, a leader in quantum computing systems, software, and services, world's first commercial supplier of quantum computers, and Stack, a leading consulting and development practice in AI, blockchain, and quantum computing, announced a strategic partnership aimed at accelerating the commercial adoption of annealing quantum computing across the Middle East. The partnership was revealed at QBTS UAE in Dubai, a half-day version of DWAVE's annual QBTS user conference. So there's been some really good ones, some really good conferences happening. We got to see the one in Las Vegas, CES, but there's been that one in Paris, in France, and then also here in Dubai, which showcases success powered by quantum through business optimization use cases, progress in quantum-fueled AI technology. So actually, and you see in demonstrations of annealing quantum computing performance over classical computing. One thing that I noticed is, for example, that recent conference that we went to at CES, is they weren't focused so much on, they were talking about the tech, they were, but a lot of what they were focusing on too is, how are we plugging these into businesses? What's the business side of things look like? And I think DWAVE's already pretty well plugged into some businesses. There is this thing called Satander that it's established quantum threat group to monitor quantum technologies and develop strategies to transition to quantum safe cryptography, ensuring security of customer data against future quantum threats. So there's going to be some developments where quantum computing could act as a threat to a lot of things in the world. And so we want to think about that. The other thing on this, before we get into that, this article, I believe, says this partnership comes as countries in the Middle East are focused on diversifying economic sources away from oil production and exports, expanding into areas such as logistics, financial services, and advanced technology. So keep that in mind. That's important to note. The other thing is oil companies in the US are already seeing benefits as more demand is increasing for US oil, because a lot of the companies in the Middle East, Aramco and in Saudi Arabia, they're seeing a slowed oil production. They're on purpose because the US has put more tariffs in place under the new administration. So they are slowing some oil production. They're saying we're going to have to figure some things out to possibly make more money. And they're actually looking at quantum computing as a way to expedite that process. That just kind of says there is money. There wouldn't be any followed. I would say there's a lot of money to be made in the future of quantum. And so that's an important note. That's why you have a lot of investments from the US, 2.3 billion or 2.6 billion dollar stimulus coming. That's a bill that's getting passed right now. And then also if we jump over to that Satander, kind of the quantum initiatives, you can see this is the company, the future for customer data security, post quantum cryptography. And they talk about basically we're gonna need quantum safe cryptography. And I believe there's some mention, I haven't looked deep in this article, but I believe that there's some mention here related to DWAVE. Possibly. Let me see that. Satander and DWAVE. Is there anything going on there? Let's see. Yeah, I'm not really seeing. I see DWAVE. Don't see Satander and DWAVE. Let's see how that goes. There's a collaboration there. I don't know that that's the same company. But anyway, that's an interesting look. The reason I brought that up is because there's a lot of need for the ability to safeguard and keep things safe against unauthorized access. That's going to be a big thing. It's going to be some big time hacks as a threat with quantum computing. This is QTG. I don't know that they're a stock, but that would be interesting to see. No, they are not. But we'll keep an update on that. So again, DWAVE. The commercial progress has been interesting. If we go to we're on their website. We know they have some big partnerships, but if we go into their financials, you can see revenue right around $2 million here. Net income negative, about $22 million. Their operating income and net profit margins, this is where they get pretty iffy, and I don't like to see it. I'd like to see some more green, wouldn't you all? How many of you guys want to see some more green in quantum? Well, how is that going to happen? You can see Rigetti, you can see IBM. IBM just announced that in this last quarter that their quantum sector made up, I don't know, it was the entire quarter, it might have been for the year, but they just reported their earnings, and they said $1 billion in revenue was made from their quantum. So quantum's picking up. We had a lot of optimism from some of the speakers at CES, IONQ, Microsoft, saying that they're looking forward to reporting results here in the upcoming earnings. So we'll see how much that reflects here into these earnings. The commercial integration of DWAVE here is that they have use in a lot of different industries. You can see the solutions that they're in. And one of the biggest things about this company is that they're building their own quantum through the cloud. So if I want to use this company through the cloud, I can use it here. Some of the reports say that if you wanted to use the cloud and be able to use Rigetti stock or IONQ or another stock, you're going to use your quantum computer through the cloud, and you might not get an answer for a couple hours, days, or weeks even. Whereas DWAVE, apparently, they've had millions and millions of queries from their quantum computers over the cloud, and their average response time is under 1 minute. So that's very, very fast. So using these quantum computers, you can get answers extremely quick. It says easily solve complex problems of up to 1 million variables and 100,000 constraints. Okay, so that's big time. You get real-time access means the quantum computers are shared resources that continually process user-submitted problems. Problems are processed in milliseconds, and QPU solutions are typically returned within seconds. So that's what we said. Really, within a minute, you can get answers using their quantum computers. So in the cybersecurity side of things, it's going to be a big deal, but also just in their solutions for workforce scheduling. If you have millions of variables, which do happen when you have different workers for different problems, and maybe you have a workforce of thousands of people, or you have variables related to weather or related to the solving of drug discovery, things like that. There's a lot of variables. You can see some of the industries they work in here, particularly finance, production, logistics, routing, resource optimization, and they got some additional use cases on their site here that you can look at. And then also, if you want to see some of their partnerships, they got some good partnerships in quantum. But one of the things that you see them kind of lean towards is the supply chain. And so when we're here, we start to see them recover. They're up just a little bit under 10% today. And we'll see what happens here at market open. The thing about DWAVE is a lot of the moves do happen right at market open. You see this sell-off. It's something that oftentimes will take place in the first few minutes of the day, and a lot of the biggest moves happen right at market open. If you'd like to watch me trade live and see as well if any opportunities present themselves, we'll be looking for it. Would love to have you there. It's the second link down below for if you want to surround yourself with other traders and investors. Also, realize there's a lot of volatility in the markets right now. There is near-term volatility expected, especially with administration changes. And if we head over to StockMate and we kind of check out some of the earnings that we have this week, so we drop our earnings in here for everyone each week. We got some big ones today. We had Uber to start the day, but we got Symbotic Robotics, AMSC. You got ARM Holdings, as well as Align Technology. That'll be interesting. But those are today. And then we got some big ones later this week as we get into Amazon. That will be interesting. And there will be the Cloudflare. That's going to be an interesting one. And Elf. I heard Elf might be impacted pretty big from that recent TikTok ban, because their company's based like 90% on TikTok. So that should be interesting to see how that plays into their earnings. But yeah, so as we get into it, just realize there's going to be a lot of opportunities related to quantum in the market, and we'll be keeping you updated. If you guys would like to stay update on space companies, AI, tech, and definitely in the quantum space here, I would encourage you to go ahead and subscribe. If I earned your thumbs up, hit that like button. I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.